Today I have what I hope will be a helpful video for you in terms of how to price your items for your antique and vintage booth. One of the tools that I use when I'm pricing my items is called Google Lens. And if you're not sure what Google Lens is, I'm going to put a link in the description box to a video where I show you exactly how to use it. So basically what it is, it's where you take a picture of the item. Say for instance, these cute little cat salt and pepper shakers. These are not going in my booth. These were actually a gift from a friend, so I'm not planning on selling these, but they're super cute, and so I put them in the video where I show you exactly step by step how to use Google Lens. So what Google Lens will do is it will pull up listings of similar items for sale across multiple platforms. So hopefully you'll see a similar item to what you have on Etsy, eBay, Poshmark, etc. And then in addition to learning how people are pricing the item, it is just a wealth of knowledge as far as the maker of the item, how old the item is, the brand name, and so on. So instead of having to recreate the wheel in terms of researching an item every time you have something to put in your booth, someone already has put that information out there on the internet, and you can basically use that information to save yourself a whole lot of time in researching your item and being able to describe it accurately and being able to price it accurately. When you look to see what other people are charging for a similar item, you have to also look at what the seller is charging for shipping. So say you see an item similar to what you have on Etsy and the item is listed at $28. Unless that shop owner has free shipping marked, you do need to go and look to see what the shipping is. So if the shipping is $12, that item isn't really $28, it's actually $40. So what I try to do is look at what eBay is selling the item for and what Etsy is selling the item for and come up with an average. You'll find that eBay has a little bit lower prices than Etsy, and there's a whole bunch of reasons for that, I think. But I still try to beat eBay and Etsy because I want my customer to buy the item from me. So I try to beat them, not only in the price, but also I'm offering my customer the item right away as opposed to having to wait for the item to arrive in the mail. In addition to checking shipping prices, you also have to consider what your customer is willing to pay. So I will say that if you are an Etsy shop owner, your people are going to be able to find you. So there might be someone who is shopping for exactly mid-century cat salt and pepper shakers. Now that customer is going to be willing to pay more because they are looking for exactly that, especially if it's for a gift for somebody else. Now, when someone comes into your antique store, the chances that they are looking exactly for mid-century cat salt and pepper shakers are pretty slim. So you have to be willing to consider what your customer is willing to pay. In our store, salt and pepper shakers average anywhere from maybe $14 all the way up to $28, depending on what they are. But I was seeing these online, my cute little guys online, for $62 plus shipping. Basically, the customers that come into my antique store are not going to pay $62 for a set of salt and pepper shakers, so I do have to keep that in mind. My price tags are very simple. I buy them in bulk from Amazon, so I will buy a box of price tags that contains 1,000 price tags, and it's really affordable. Sometimes I will use fancier price tags, and for furniture, I will use larger price tags so that they're easier to read, but basically I use these string price tags just over and over again. I put the basic information on the price tag, and then I put my vendor code, which is my initials. It varies by store. That's how the store owner and the bookkeeper know whose item it was, so who gets credit for the item, and then I put my price. You can also add information on the maker or the pattern if you want, or the age of the item on the price tag. I also recommend, if there is a problem with the item, that you put a little indication. I put a little star and I write as is with an arrow, and then on the back of the tag I will write what's wrong with the piece, whether it has a chip or a hairline fracture or something like that. If you are someone who sells a lot of the same item, for instance, there's a woman in our store who sells handmade soaps, and so she prints labels on a label printer, and she prints a whole sheet and then she just slaps the labels on. I make organic soy candles, and so when I make these candles, I do something a little bit fancier on my computer. It's not anything super fancy, but I do make these nice stickers for my candles. And then if you're selling something like candles, you also have to have, this is required by law in order to sell candles because they are flammable. You have to have these safety stickers. These came from Amazon and they were very, very affordable. Finally, when you are pricing your items for your antique booth, I really recommend that you consider what other antique dealers in your store are pricing those items at. You don't want to consistently undercut other people's prices just in order to get the sale, because it can build tension between people who you're just meeting in your new store, for instance, and you don't want to start off on a bad foot. So I just think it's good business practice to price your items very similarly to what the other dealers are pricing the items for, and not consistently try to undercut them just to get the sale. I hope you enjoyed today's video and that it helped you to understand how to price items for your antique or vintage booth. And I hope to see you again soon in the next video.